Hi again, it's me, Michelle. Today I would like to talk about my favorite person in history ever. Well, she's actually a legend. Anyway, so of course it's Lilith, and here are 6 reasons why she is absolutely my hero. Well, if you know me, you know I often complain about the lack of actual diversity and positive, realistic, and emotional, intelligent role models in media, as in entertainment, and literature. There are some, most recently, is of course Bo Dennis of Lost Girl. Gotta love her. But still, it's not nearly enough. They're too few and far between. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of shows, books, and movies that I still enjoy. It's just that even if they're fantastic, they're not fully representative. Granted, that might be a hard thing to do since most people and most artists have never met too many folks who are extremely different from themselves, like I have. Um, and that's not me bragging. There's actually another thing that I'm going to talk about later on. I've already written a post about it, and yeah, so I'd like to think I know what I'm actually talking about. Anyway, there's an article I was reading recently that pointed out that many of us on the margins need what are called possibility models, and not just cookie cutter tokens, not just for insinuation, and God, not just for titillation. I mean, I love the L word, but totally all three of those. Anyway, for me especially, fitting into so many different intersectional identities that I've never seen anyone else come close, living or fictional. There was only one person that came pretty close. And by that, I mean that she was reviled and hated as much as I am. It's not personal, mind you. No, it's just that a few people see beyond my labels to my reality. And the same goes for her, even now. So, in fact, that's one of the reasons that I felt such a kinship to her, and that I still do. I'm not religious. If anything, I'm a Taoist theologist, and I'll explain that to you another day. But damn, do I admire the hell out of her. And this is why. The number one reason is that she's associated with dragons, serpents, and air. So, I was born in the year of the dragon, and I was also born in Gemini, which makes my sign that of air. I don't believe in astrology, but I do absolutely fucking love dragons. And, the zodiac's it's kind of fun to deal with, especially when I write about it so much. Anyway, her personality seems rather similar to mine. We both have become a bit monstrous when angered. We're both very sensual and sexual, and we tend to burn those who get close to us in ways that are both positive and negative. Just depending on whether they can handle it or not, really. We're both also incredibly cerebral, celestial, and versatile. Second reason, she's a black woman. Now, though her depictions often show her as rather fair-skinned, which she may or may not have been, most think she might have been Sumerian, and that would put her on the border between Asian and African. But either way, it doesn't matter because she's a mythical legend. But the point is, she's a woman of color, and she might have been a redhead, which I absolutely fucking adore. I love red hair. I don't know what it is. Everybody else hates them. I love them. But anyway, so like me, she's been fetishized, marginalized, scapegoated, feared, and desired precisely because of her exotic nature. Number 3, she's non-monogamous, highly sexual, and androgynous. Lilith, she fucks whoever she wants, whenever she wants, and she's completely unapologetic about it. She's an advocate for her own pleasure, and there are some tales that mention that once upon a time, she and Samael, one of her lovers, share the same body, which would make them both male and female. They have, both masculine and feminine energy. So being polyamorous and genderqueer with a high sex drive myself, Obviously, this spoke a lot to my own experience. She also seems to be just as sadistic, dominant, and passionate as I am. She's also a feminist, or highly individualistic. She once said, "Why must I lie beneath you when we were made from the same dust?" And I can understand that. When Adam commanded her to basically lay down and take what was coming to her, she said, "Fuck that," and left. She wouldn't settle for being secondary to anyone or anything. She called on the most sacred name of God and struck out on her own. She created her own world, loved who she wanted to, and did what made her happy. She sacrificed nothing of herself to gain her joy. She maintained her wholeness, her vulnerability, and she rid herself of the poison that the world threw on her. She never accepted the status quo just because that's what she was told. She questioned everything. She knew her own heart and mind. She refused to go along with the program. She took nothing for granted, forged an entirely new path down unexplored avenues, and she knew her own worth. She wasn't normal and wouldn't settle for normal. Though she was pressured by gods and men to conform, she never took the well-traveled, obvious path. She avoided a lot of the pitfalls because she dared to look further and to investigate. The number 5, she's a vampire. She's nocturnal. The way I say it, she's awake. I'm a night owl. I always have been. I despise mornings. But it also goes deeper than that. See, part of the reason I stayed up late is because I'd wait in dread for the dick who would sneak in and harm me every night. In the course of 8 months. Yeah. Even after he'd moved out, I never really slept well. I sleep night and sleep light. And even now, my brain is still working, even as I dream. I'm always on. I learned to put that to good use by learning to be aware of everything. My hypervigilance and anxiety became tools that I used to learn, grow, and pay attention to what mattered. Lilith is a creature of the night. All things dark are her domain. She walks fearlessly into it because she survived wars. She's able to face her demons because she literally gave birth to them. She creates her own light and is able to see things that most others can't because they're so afraid of the dark, or they're simply unaware of what lurks beyond the light blinding them. And number 6, she finds herself the scapegoat for other people's bullshit. Lilith, the dark goddess, the eater of children, the seductress of men, the mother of demons. She's been called a lot of things, and a lot of those things have been downright awful. Lilith was blamed for everything from infant deaths to nocturnal emissions, for the creation of all demonic creatures on Earth. Not to mention that one of her partners, who's the lefty like me, is the one accused of tempting Eve in the garden. Some pretty bad stuff. But yeah, so if anything ever went wrong, you can bet that Lilith's name would come up like the curse it gradually became. Men hated her, women hated her, she was outcast, pariah, queer. I know what that feels like. My race, my gender, my sexualities, myself, and my body have been blamed for various problems or sacrificed on the altar of the common good. I have been othered in the worst of ways, regardless of the actual truth. And, all those reasons, that's why Lilith is my power animal. It's why she's one of my characters. I'm actually writing her story because in so many ways it is my own. Discovering her tale when I started my own research at age 12 was one very important and fortuitous event. It saved my life because I saw my possibility model out there in the world. Even though she was hated, even though she was blamed for everything wrong with the world, even though she was considered evil. For a person who did often identify more with the intelligent villains in the movies than the empty, interchangeable protagonists, Lilith was the first to help me realize that there are different sides to every story, and that the one that gets told the most isn't always the right one. And then all she wanted was to be treated like a human being. Instead, she was made into a goddess and a succubus. the Madonna horror complex, anyone? But she values the truth above all else. She uncovers what others fear to reveal, and she lives openly while others hide. She showed me what I could become. She proved to me that I was indeed possible and that I did exist. It was she who inspired me to keep going as myself, no matter what the rest of the world called me. Lilith created herself in so many ways. She was always full of herself, not in a disparaging way that people mean it, but in a vivacious sense. She is a cup overflowing, the only creature that could ever understand me and see me fully. Someone thought her out thousands of years ago, and here I am today, having felt so totally alone and beaten. So when I stress the importance of realistic, diverse, and positive role models, that's what I want to see. I'm bringing her back to life and sharing her experiences from her point of view, because they are my own, and because it's a way past time that I had a media representation of myself. So, if that sounds good to you, then stick around, read my work, and you'll get a peek of her story next year. Ooh boy.